All right, hey guys, Dr. Axe here. Welcome to Facebook Live. Man, I'm so excited to share with you today one of the most popular topics I've ever covered, and that's how to heal leaky gut and autoimmune-like conditions. Now, we're going to go over a lot of things here about leaky gut, autoimmune disease, but we're going to go through the step-by-step process that I've used with thousands of patients to help them heal their leaky gut, and also be digging into what leaky gut is here as well. So, but hey, before I start and dive into the information here, hey, do me a favor, take a minute right now, punch that share button, click the love button, help me spread the word, food is medicine. I want people to learn the truth that they don't need to turn to pharmaceuticals, that there are all natural ways to heal our bodies using food as medicine. So thanks everybody who's sharing this. Also right now I'm going to see who's joining me. I know we've got people from all over the world. Take a minute right now and let me know the city you're from, the state you're from, the country you're from, and I'll give you a shout out here right now on Facebook Live. All right, guys, so we're going to touch on essential oils today. We're going to touch on herbs. I'm going to talk about TCM, that's traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, and more of those types of approaches to healing leaky gut. And a lot of this is new information that maybe you've never heard before here as well. So we're going to cover all of these tips here in depth and also talk about personalized medicine. You know, everybody watching this video is different, and there's something in TCM called the 5 elements, and so I'm going to talk about how to personalize your own path to healing your body, healing your gut, and overcoming a number of chronic health illnesses here as well. All right, we'll see who's joining me here. We've got Jennifer Bellamy from Elmwood, Georgia. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for joining me here today. We've got Hope Alonzo from Christ, Texas. She says, howdy. Howdy, Hope. Thanks for joining me. We've got Kalea from Denver, Colorado. We've got Claria from North Carolina. We've got, let's see who else is joining me here. We've got Janice Sowers from Ohio. She said, it's my birthday today. Well, hey, happy birthday, Janice. Thanks for joining me here today as well. And we've got Audrey from California. We've got Sheila from Las Vegas, Nevada here, and somebody just said they've got IBS, it's irritable bowel syndrome, and they need some help. We're going to be covering exactly what to do for that here as well. All right, guys. Actually, we've got Elizabeth here from Belfast over in Europe. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks for joining me here today as well. All right, guys. So we're going to dive deep into all these things. I do want to mention this as well, okay? Just give myself a little plug. I hope that's okay. My book just got reprinted, and this book, Eat Dirt, and this is where I get in-depth into personalized medicine on how to heal leaky gut. So if you're looking for an in-depth book that has all of the recipes, in fact, over 100 recipes on how to heal your gut, then again, you can check out this my new book, Eat Dirt. It's on Amazon.com. It's in Barnes & Noble. It's Books a Million. It's in bookstores all over the country, or you can buy it online there as well. But it's Eat Dirt, so make sure you check that out. Read the reviews online. All right, so let's dive in. Leaky gut. Well, here's what you need to know. Leaky gut is a condition that causes other conditions, right? So here, I'll tell you, if you have any one of these symptoms, then you probably have leaky gut. If you have any type of digestive issues such as inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's, colitis, IBS, that's a severe form of leaky gut. If you have sometimes anxiety or depression and they're diet related, that can be leaky gut. If you have migraine headaches, that's leaky gut. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, joint pain, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or any autoimmune disease, then you have leaky gut. Also, anybody that's struggling with, let's say, even ADHD or children with autism, all of these people have leaky gut. And we tend to think, oh, well, if I would have a gut issue, I'm going to notice digestive problems. Here's the truth is you can have leaky gut and not have a single digestive symptom. Now, a lot of people do have leaky gut, and their symptoms are some bloating, maybe some gas, maybe just general digestive disturbances, but they don't realize that's a warning sign from something bigger going on in their body and in their internal environment. So here's how leaky gut works. So your intestinal lining, what separates your digestive system and your bloodstream, it has a lining, and it's called your gut lining. Now that lining, imagine it's kind of like a net with really small holes in it. Well, those holes can get larger and larger over time, so only small things like vitamins and minerals and glucose should be able to get in your bloodstream. What happens when you have leaky gut, those those nets get tears or holes in them from, let's say, inflammation. Imagine there's a fire on that lining. Well, those holes get bigger, so now things that should never get in your bloodstream start getting in there. Undigested food particles like gluten and casein, heavy metals, bad bacteria, they get into your bloodstream, and the problem is now they're not just in an isolated area of your gut. Now it causes inflammation of your entire body, and if that continues on over time, it can target certain areas like your thyroid causing Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or your joints causing rheumatoid arthritis, or different areas of your body causing lupus. This can be related to MS, a number of health problems, even type 1 diabetes. And so we need to treat the root cause of the disease, which starts in your gut. Remember this, Hippocrates said this over 2,000 years ago, all disease, not some, all disease begins in your gut. So if you want to heal your thyroid, your adrenals, your joints, your brain, all of these different areas, you've got to heal your gut first. So we're going to dive in and touch on these steps to start healing leaky gut, autoimmune disease, and almost in the majority of health conditions today can be see great improvements or healed by following these steps and principles. And again, I do want to mention that if you want to find out not just what I'm teaching here today, but really in-depth information, my book was just re-released in paperback. The price right now in bookstores and online is the lowest it'll probably ever be. So it's my book, Eat Dirt, where I go through how to heal leaky gut. I go through all the recipes as well. You want to know, hey, what are all the recipes using these foods? It's all in my book here, Eat Dirt, which is in bookstores across the country, Amazon.com online, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, so check it out there. By the way, I want to know, hey, have you ever read my book, Eat Dirt? I'd love to hear from you if you've read part of the book and if it's helped you or you saw any results from reading the book, so post that online now. All right, so here's what we got to do, leaky gut. The first thing we have to do is remove the things that are damaging your gut. Now, a lot of people have inflammation of their gut lining, so we got to remove things that cause inflammation. But I'm going to surprise you with some of this, I guarantee you, even if you've watched some of my videos before. So here's what you need to know. First things you need to remove are refined grains and gluten. Now, I'm going to surprise you and let you know there actually is one type of grain that sometimes people can do well with if it's cooked properly with leaky gut. But in general, grains and gluten are things you want to stay away from leaky gut. Because again, think about this. We've got to reduce that inflammation in your gut. Number 2 are dairy products. Now listen, if you're doing a little bit of goat's milk kefir or something like that, hey, you might be able to get away with it. A little bit of goat's milk kefir, a little bit of those probiotics, but that is the only type of dairy for the most part people do okay with. Sometimes a little bit of ghee, but in general, you want to get dairy out of your diet, and I'm going to touch on in just a minute why. Bad oils, bad fats, hydrogenated canola oil. Really, I don't like canola oil, period, but especially genetically modified canola oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil. You got to get those oils out of your diet. The other thing is sugar, right? Now, we know that. But here's the thing. Sugar feeds yeast in your body, candida overgrowth. Did you know that if you have candida or yeast overgrowth in your body, they themselves produce toxins that start to eat away at your gut lining, causing more inflammation and toxicity? So candida, one of the worst things, you can tell you have candida if you stick out your tongue, you look in the mirror, there's any type of white coating on your tongue. In Chinese medicine, it's also referred to as dampness if you have a white coating on your tongue. Now, here's where I'm going to blow your mind, okay? I'm going to surprise many of you with this one. Raw vegetables. If you have severe leaky gut or dampness, if you stick out your tongue and you have a white coating, you don't want to be doing raw vegetables. Does that surprise you? Here's the thing, it's dampening in nature. Same thing, egg whites, cold drinks, dairy, sugar. So in traditional Chinese medicine, your body could be, listen to this, your body could be too hot or too cold, too damp or too dry, too much movement or too little movement. Too little movement's called stagnation in Chinese medicine, and then too much or too little what's called, or just too little qi in Chinese medicine. But here's what this means. If your body is, so think about this, your body, there's an environment going on, right? An ecosystem in your body. It can be too dry or too, just like your skin could be too oily or too dry. The same thing can be going on inside your body. Now think about this. You know, there was recently, in the past several years, a lot of flooding due to hurricanes in the states of Florida and Texas. Now I've lived in Florida for quite some time. I live in Tennessee now, but with living in Florida, I will tell you that if you get in a basement in Florida, which rarely happens, or somewhere in the south, a basement, and it floods, it can grow mold very easily, right? You've heard that, the hurricanes, flooding, mold is a major issue. Well, think about this in your body. If your body's environment internally becomes too damp, mold can grow, or essentially yeast, fungus, candida grows in your body. Now, here's what a lot of doctors do today. They say, well, here's an antibiotic to treat the bad bacteria. That doesn't fix it. Here's what you have to do. If you have leaky gut syndrome, which a big part of it oftentimes is dampness in regards to the phrases they use in Chinese medicine, we have to dry up the dampness. I see a lot of people today, they have candida or they have leaky gut, and they say, okay, I'm just going to do, I'm just going to eat lots of raw foods and just eat healthier. Here's the problem, that doesn't do it. If you want to heal leaky gut and get rid of dampness, you have to consume foods that dry up that dampness. So listen, just like when you're sick with a cold or flu, you can get phlegm in your throat. A lot of us have that phlegm and mucus in our stomach, in our intestines. In fact, a big part of Crohn's and ulcerative colitis is mucus in their stool and in their gut. So again, that can happen in our bodies. We got to dry that up. So again, the most mucus producing, the most dampening foods in Chinese medicine are dairy, wheat products, so wheat and certain grains, sugar, raw vegetables, cold drinks, things like you want to know the most dampening food in the world is ice cream. It's both dairy and it's ice cold and it's got artificial things in it for the most part. Again, an egg white, think about egg whites, it's almost almost looks like phlegm, right? So these things you got to remove and get completely out of your diet according to Chinese medicine if you're going to truly heal leaky gut. By the way, if you're enjoying this advanced training on healing leaky gut and autoimmune disease, take a minute right now, punch that share button for me, click the love button, help me spread the word food is medicine. You know there are still millions of people that are being prescribed antibiotics trying to treat this problem when all we have to do is dry up the dampness in our system. Now listen, there are more causes than just dampness, but in a certain population. But for most people that have leaky gut, the largest percentage, they have a lot of dampness in their body. And if you want to look it up online, it's called a spleen qi deficiency or dampness in Chinese medicine, and there are dietary things we want to do in order to fix that. Now, we're going to talk about resealing. So, remember this, we have holes in our gut lining. We've got to start patching, repairing, and healing up the gut lining. We're going to talk about how to reseal and then reseed after that in just a minute. But I want to say this as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you've read my book, Eat Dirt, this just came out on paperback, and this is the quintessential book to go over how to heal autoimmune disease, digestive issues, and any type of leaky gut you might have. This is good for everybody. You want to raise a healthy kid and help boost their immune systems? Check out the book here, Eat Dirt. By the way, it has over 100 recipes following all the foods you need to follow in order to heal leaky gut, remove dampness from your body, get rid of candida, all those things. So again, check out the book. And by the way, if you've read the book, hey, let me know how you like it here as well. It looks like a Crystal here says, buying it right now. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much, Crystal. I know you're going to love the book. I created that as a guide on how I healed myself from leaky gut and then thousands and thousands of patients over time there as well. Kathy actually says probiotics and glutamine have really helped her gut there as well. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about this resealing the gut. So the first superfood, now we all hear why bone broth is great, but here's the biggest reason. Bone broth contains, now let me just say this, it's not just any bone broth. Ideally, chicken bone broth, okay? Bone broth that comes from chickens. And again, I do a product every morning, a bone broth powdered protein. I do that in my smoothie every single morning. It's what I recommend to all my patients. So you can make broth at home, you can buy it frozen, or you can just do bone broth in powder form and drink it that way. In fact, oftentimes in the powder form, it's easier on the digestive tract because it has almost no glutamate or histamine. So again, a lot of times people ask, well, Dr. Axe, I have really multiple food sensitivities, so I can't drink broth. Well, those people tend to be able to tolerate a bone broth protein product or a multi-collagen or just chicken stock instead of chicken broth, okay? Stock is cooked for a shorter period of time, which allows you to digest it better, and so is bone broth protein and multi-collagen. So bone broth, here's the thing, bone broth, especially when it comes from chickens, is high in proline, hydroxyproline, which are the biggest building blocks of collagen. Did you know that the majority, a good part of your intestines and digestive tract are not made up of muscle building proteins? They're made up of collagen building proteins. We get almost no collagen in our diet on a regular basis. And again, here's what you want to make sure of. When you're buying a collagen product or collagen protein, make sure it's a multi-collagen protein. Just a plain collagen protein isn't near as beneficial to the body as a multi-collagen, because regular collagen proteins out there only have beef collagen. They don't have poultry or wild fish collagen, which are very beneficial to the body. So you got to do bone broth. Rather than the raw vegetables, you want to do lots of cooked vegetables. Things like carrots, celery, onions, squashes, spinach, kale, collards, all of those things. But again, and if you want to know what are the easiest things in the world for your body to digest and allow your body to heal, it's a blend of bone broth and cooked vegetables. That's the key. A big part of your diet should be broth and cooked vegetables on a regular basis. Next thing here, easiest fruits to digest and probably the most beneficial for leaky gut are pears and blueberries. Pears, you can cook those, or if you can't find pears, do a pear sauce or an apple sauce. Very, very easy to digest, or make homemade applesauce. But pears and blueberries contain unique antioxidants and fiber, which are very good for the gut. So do pears. So these are my top two fruits. Now, there are other fairs. Frozen cherries that are then warmed up can be good. Apples to a degree. Certain fruits. I do want to say this might surprise you. You don't want to consume tropical fruits or bananas if you have dampness. So if you stick out your tongue and if there's a white coating on the back or your full tongue, that means you've got a lot of dampness. And in that case, so just about the only fruits you should be doing are pears and blueberries and maybe frozen cherries. And when you consume fruit, you want to consume them with warming and bitter herbs like cinnamon and ginger. So if you're going to have pears, sprinkle cinnamon on them because pears are a little bit cooling. I know I'm getting into a lot of detail here, but I just want to give you all the tips here for you to follow. Bone broth, cooked vegetables, pears and blueberries are fantastic. Again, as are frozen or cherries that you then cook and warm up are great there as well. And then herbs, I'm going to touch on my favorite herbs here as well. And by the way, if you're saying to yourself, well, man, where do I find recipes with these blueberries and with pears and all these things? Again, they're in my book here that just came out, Eat Dirt. You can find this in bookstores across the country or on Amazon.com, BarnesNoble.com, BooksAMillion.com. But this book just got re-released with 100+ recipes following all the recipes you need to heal leaky gut. So let's talk about the best herbs. If we're talking herbs, you want to do herbs that are dry. Cinnamon, ginger. So those are warming herbs. And then bitter herbs, Pau d'Arco. So you can do like a Pau d'Arco tea. That's spelled P-A-U-D-A-R-C-O, 2 words, Pau d'Arco. Very good tea for drying up dampness there as well. Sage tea is good for dampness, S-A-G-E. So Pau d'Arco, sage, ginger, cinnamon, those tend to be very, very good herbs for drying up that dampness. And you know what? In Chinese medicine, that's what they did. They had you drink herbal tea and broth or vegetable soups until you got better. And that's how people healed. And traditional Chinese medicine still works today here. So those are some of the best herbs. I want to mention this as well. When you have leaky gut, you want to stay away from almost all grains, especially if they're not well cooked. But in Chinese medicine, when somebody had gut issues, there was one grain that they turned to more than the others, and it was a sprouted rice that they turned into something called congee. Now, I don't recommend just cooking up rice for 30 minutes and eating it, or when you're eating out, it's okay, but not as good. When you have leaky gut, you want to just be very easy on your body so it can heal. The best rice to do is a sprouted rice that you cook in a slow cooker, crock pot, or pressure cooker to where it's basically a mush with water and a little sea salt or water and broth. But again, a sprouted rice, if you have leaky gut, it's really the only grain that I personally hardly ever consume. Now, listen, it was funny. I just recently, Chelsea and I went on a trip to New York, and I had a whole grain sprout. I had a whole grain bagel or a gluten-free bagel, and someone said, Dr. Axe, I can't believe you ate that. You know what? It's like twice a year I'll eat just a whole grain that I don't cook at home or a few times. And so anyways, listen, if you've got a pretty healthy digestive tract, your body can handle some grains here and there, okay? But if you've got leaky gut and you really want to heal it, You need to stay away from all grains except for grains that you cook in the crock pot for a long time, maybe a sprouted oat or a sprouted rice. But again, congee, so if you make a chicken soup that you cook overnight, you can do a little bit of that. There's a brand I really like. It's called California Blonde. Okay, California Blonde sprouted rice. You can buy it at, I think, local health food stores or Amazon. But look for sprouted rice if you're going to buy rice. All right, here's the other thing here, pumpkin. This might surprise you. You know pumpkin is one of the best foods for candida? So pumpkin actually contains certain compounds that helps dry up dampness and nourishes your stomach, spleen, and pancreas in Chinese medicine. So doing lots of pumpkin is awesome. And what I do in the morning is I do a pumpkin smoothie. So here's my recipe, right? And again, if you want more recipes like this, in fact, this recipe I think is in this book, Eat Dirt. But what I do is I do a half a can of pumpkin in my Vitamix. I then do about a cup of either coconut or almond milk. I then do 1 scoop of a bone broth powder, a protein powder that comes from bone broth, right? So bone broth protein, vanilla flavor or maple flavor. So I do that, and then I do a little bit of cinnamon or a pumpkin pie spice in there. So I do a cinnamon pumpkin smoothie for breakfast and it's like so amazing for your gut. Think about it. You're getting just a little bit of coconut. From the coconut milk, you're getting pumpkin, you're getting warming spices like cinnamon, ginger from pumpkin pie spice, and then you're getting that bone broth, all of those amino acids from a bone broth protein powder. Again, vanilla flavor is what I add in, or if you do a keto protein powder, you can do maple flavor, but doing those as part of a pumpkin smoothie is a perfect breakfast for supporting your gut and digestive health. The other thing is here, organic meat, right? Okay, listen, when you have leaky gut, you don't want to consume meats that have been injected with steroids and growth hormones and where the animals have been eating genetically modified food. You want it to be organic, wild, grass-fed, whether it be wild-caught salmon, grass-fed beef, organic chicken and turkey. Again, you want to consume meats that you ideally do in the crock pot. And listen, the ultimate meal for healing your gut is a crock pot soup, like a traditional chicken vegetable soup. All right, guys, we're now going to jump into probiotics, and then I'm going to touch on essential oils, more herbs, and all the supplements you need to support and heal your gut. Before I jump into that, though, hey, do me a favor, help me spread this word, because there are millions of people that have gut issues. You know what their doctors are putting them on? Prescription antibiotics, and it's the only thing they know to do. A lot of them are actually getting put on high sugar diets. They're getting put on meal replacements that have high fructose corn syrup because they don't know there's another way. So hey, do me a favor, punch the share button, click the love button or wow button. If some of this information is wowing you, hey, help me spread the word here right now as well. I want to see what you guys are saying here as well. Terry Ann says she is taking notes. Denise says, what is an SBO probiotic? So an SBO probiotic, by the way, if you buy a probiotic, I would simply just go online and look up SBO probiotic Dr. Axe, okay, or just SBO. Look up, and I've written about these before, but it means a soil-based organism probiotic. In fact, I will mention this. The reason why I called my book that I wrote and recently came out with Eat Dirt, the reason I called it this is based on SBO probiotics. When you go to your local farmer's market and you buy those dirty, the carrots or vegetables that still have a little bit of dirt on them, and then you go home and even if you rinse them off, you ever notice on carrots, they're not perfectly like a glistening orange unless you buy the baby carrots that are cut and have been sprayed with chlorine, okay? But the carrots you buy from your farmer's market, even when you wash them off, there are little specks of brown embedded in the carrot, or beets are another example of that, okay? So vegetables naturally have these what are called soil-based probiotics or soil-based organisms embedded in them. And did you know, according to clinical studies, when you are consuming foods that have those soil-based organisms, those probiotics actually help you better break down and digest your food and help naturally boost your immune system over time. This is something we've lost because all of us today, or most of us, don't eat out of our own gardens or don't buy from our local farmer's market. What started happening is we're not getting local microbes. Here's another example. Have you ever heard that local honey helps fight allergies? But listen, it's raw local honey, not just honey. Raw local honey. Here's the reason why. Did you know that honey, if it's bought locally, has over 200 microbes and types of pollen that when you consume it, it actually acts as a natural immunization to where your body gets used to the pollen and the bacteria in your local area, and your body starts building up its own immunity towards those things. And so it naturally boosts your immune system. But because we don't eat locally anymore, a lot of us have weakened our immune systems. And so again, in my book, Eat Dirt, I go through ways to get these SBOs and recipes and the whole thing of how you naturally build your immunity over time, doing it the natural way. Not to, a lot of times today, we get false immunity that has side effects, right? We know immunizations, vaccines, I'm not going to go the whole thing here, but it's not the natural way where we're connected to our environment. God created a way for us to build and boost our immune systems naturally through food, using food as medicine by exposure to local dirt. There are medical studies showing that kids are healthier when they play in the dirt. Kids that grow up on farms are healthier than others. So again, I'll get off my tangent here, but it's important to remember that's what SBO probiotics are. So I hope that helps answer your question. Somebody says, what about soil contamination? Of course, you want to get good soil. Now, I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. I go out in the country a little bit here to Franklin and these different areas here. And we've got, healthy soil options. If you're in New York City, listen, I still think there are farmers in New York that are bringing healthy foods that are locally grown there. And let me say this, the degree to which the soil is polluted compared to the alternative, which is foods that are literally just blatantly sprayed with chemicals. I mean, literally, here's what happens. A lot of us today take an apple, they are literally spraying it with pesticides, shipping it, and we're eating it. Versus maybe a little pesticide somewhere we're in the air and got into the soil. So here's the whole thing. Buy organic or buy from your local farmer's market where they're following those principles. That's what you want to do there. So let's dive in. SBO probiotics, again, the best type of probiotics that I believe the best probiotic everybody should be getting in their diet on a regular basis is an SBO probiotic. SBO probiotics like Bacillus subtilis. Have you ever heard of natto? It's part of the Japanese and Okinawan cuisine. That contains that SBO probiotic called called Bacillus subtilis, which is an SBO type probiotic. So again, SBO probiotics are essentially a lot of what they consume in Japan today. Who has the longest lifespan? So again, SBO probiotic supplement. Look for it made with organic ingredients. Here's the other one. Sauerkraut has Lactobacillus plantarum. Now here's the deal. You don't want to go overboard on this. If you have multiple sensitivities and you react a lot to things, then you just want to start off with 1 tablespoon, okay? Or a teaspoon of sauerkraut a day and work your way up. And it's not the more the merrier. If you're eating 2 bags of sauerkraut a day, that's actually not good. It's too much sour in your diet. But if you're doing 1 serving a day, the size of a fist, that's perfect. If you can build up to that, again, getting more of that sauerkraut. Another good one could be kvass. It's Kvass from beetroot juice. Kvass can be good. And then, of course, apple cider vinegar. Just simply a teaspoon to tablespoon a day is fantastic for your body. Here's the thing. I'm going to surprise you with this. Did you know when you consume a probiotic supplement, or even a lot of these probiotic foods, those probiotics don't come inside you and then live there. What happens is when you eat sauerkraut, because it's the right pH, okay, the right balance of acid and alkaline, it actually changes the pH of your stomach and your intestines. So then what happens is probiotics, the right balance of them, can better flourish and grow. So think about this. When you consume a lot of sugar in your diet, it causes yeast overgrowth. You didn't create new yeast. There was no necessarily sugar in the yeast. But sugar creates a damp environment which allows candida to grow. Sauerkraut and bitter herbs like cinnamon or foods like artichokes or arugula, they create a less damp and a more dry environment, and they balance your pH, which allows candida to die off and more beneficial microbes to grow like bifidobacterium and lactobacillus acidophilus. All these different types of bacteria start to grow in your body that should be there in the first place. The thing I love about SBO probiotics is they act like a bulldozer. They help get rid of candida. They help get rid of the bad bacteria, and they make room for that new healthy bacteria you're getting when you're eating foods like sauerkraut, which allow these things to flourish more. as well. All right, let's talk now about essential oils and herbs and the best supplements to consume in order to heal your gut. By the way, if you want to check this out here, my new book, Eat Dirt. This book was just re-released, over 100 recipes going over exactly how you consume this type of diet and incorporating all of these foods in order to heal leaky gut. It also has a quiz in there where you can see how severe your leaky gut is. Another quiz in here is to help you eat right for your gut type. Did you know in Chinese medicine there are 5 different types? And each type should eat differently for their own health. So did you know that you shouldn't necessarily eat exactly the same as a certain person, even in your family? A lot of us should be on different diets. So this has 5 paths for people with different health issues, whether it's autoimmune disease, thyroid problems like hypothyroidism, somebody with inflammatory bowel disease, another person with depression, anxiety, someone else with liver, gallbladder issues. There's a different diet for everybody in this book. Has a shopping list. All the recipes are here. You can find this on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million. It's in bookstores across the country. It's online. You can check it out here as well. All right, so let's talk about rebuilding your health. We're going to talk about, so again, my favorite protein to use is a bone broth powder protein, okay? So bone broth in powder form, that's the #1 supplement. I mean this. If somebody said, Dr. Axe, if somebody can only take one supplement for their gut, what would that supplement be? Hands down, easy, a bone broth powder protein, okay? So a bone broth protein you put in a smoothie, that's it by far if you just take one. After that, a multi-collagen protein, okay? That's the second one. I actually, in my morning smoothies, every morning I do 1 scoop of a bone broth powder, 1 scoop of a multi-collagen powder, and that's how I start my day off, and all my patients start their day off. Next thing, let's talk about herbs. Ginger. Ginger is an amazing herb for your gut. It's a warming herb. It's anti-inflammatory. So whether you're doing ginger or a few drops of ginger essential oil CO2 extract, I actually use a ginger oil on a regular basis, really potent and powerful. But ginger juice, ginger tea, ginger caps, ginger oil are all great because of how it reduces. Remember I talked about that earlier. One of the causes of leaky gut is inflammation of that gut lining. The other thing here, astragalus, okay? Astragalus is very good for the stomach and your upper GI. And then DGL, licorice root extract, and last but not least, zinc, okay? So zinc is fantastic. It's a mineral that is very, very therapeutic to your gut. By the way, again, the #1 mineral people are missing who have gut and digestive issues typically is zinc. You know, zinc is the immune boosting vitamin. Why is it immune boosting? Because 70% of your immune system's in your gut. Zinc is also the most gut healing. In fact, if somebody has acne issues or skin issues, it's a warning sign they're zinc deficient. Most people need to do about 30 milligrams of zinc a day for a long period of time, 6 to 9 months, to replenish their zinc stores. CrossFit athletes, people that work out a lot are deficient in zinc. Immune issues, all of those. So a lot of people need to be getting more zinc in their diet as well. But licorice, zinc, ginger, astragalus, bone broth powder, multi-collagen are all some of the big ones here. #5 here, restore. By the way, if you're enjoying this live video right now, take a minute right now, punch that share button, click the love button, help me spread the word that food is medicine. And by the way, we're posting, I have a gut type quiz online. We have the quiz in this book and all of the recipes. Hey, I'd love to hear, have you read my book, Eat Dirt? What did you think about it? Did you see results? Hey, please post your thoughts here online here as well. All right, somebody said, what brand of zinc do you recommend? I would recommend a brand that does a lot of organic products and that does food-based vitamins and supplements is what I would recommend. So again, look for one that has foods on their label where they're using real food. All right, restore. Here's the last thing I want to mention about leaky gut. Your emotions cause leaky gut. If you have a lot of fear in your life, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others, that emotion of fear, it wears out your adrenals and kidneys, lowers your body's chi in Chinese medicine is what it's called, but basically that can cause leaky gut. So you got to combat fear. The other emotion is worry. Think about this. If you worry a lot, it actually causes dysfunction of the stomach. It even gives you a stomach ache. So the emotion of worry and the emotion of grief. If you have a sense of loss or lack of community in your life, lack of positive, good relationships, that can cause leaky gut. So negative emotions cause leaky gut. Here's some things to think about. I put up here 3 words: identity, gratefulness, and community. All right. So if you really want to combat and have positive emotions, change your emotions and mindset, one of the things is you need to know who you are. What's your purpose, essentially? Your identity and purpose in life. Now listen, I know a lot of people watching this video have different religious beliefs, philosophical beliefs. I'll tell you, for me, I believe that I'm very emotionally and spiritually healthy because I have a really close relationship with God. I break open my Bible every day. I say what I'm grateful for. I have a personal relationship with Him. And because of that, I know I'm a child of God. Because of that, I'm just telling you, it completely transforms me knowing why I do what I do on a daily basis. I do things to serve man. I do things because I'm supposed to make heaven, earth more like heaven. Okay, I'm supposed to make this a better place. It fuels me. It drives me. It changes the way I do things. It's an important thing to remember. Combat fear by knowing your identity and purpose. The other thing is worry. You know, a lot of times we get worried or depressed or because we're not grateful enough. And one of the things I do every morning is I do something called a spiritual triathlon. I did it this morning. I woke up for 5 minutes. I just said everything I'm grateful for. I put up on some praise music and just, you know, got excited about my day. Just said everything I'm grateful for. And then I spent 5 minutes reading something. And you can read a personal growth book, a spiritual book, a Bible, but something like that. Read and nourish your soul. And then I spend 5 minutes in prayer, meditation, or visualization, thinking about how what I just learned, how it's going to impact how I go through the rest of my day. But again, I think it's really powerful to be grateful and spend time in gratefulness every single day. By the way, I'd love to hear from, do you get grateful on a regular basis? And also, well, actually, if you do get grateful, you like that tip, hey, punch the wow or the love button or like button right now as well. And the last thing here, grief, okay? If you have a sense of loss in your life, maybe life isn't going the way you thought, or you went through a divorce, or you lost someone you really cared about. There can be, what most people do today is we go and isolate ourselves. By the way, this is a big cause of inflammatory bowel disease. We isolate ourselves, we get away from people. It is critical. We are meant to be in community with others. And so I just want to encourage you, if there are 2 people that are sucking the life from you, write them down, spend less time with them. And then write down those 3 people, or as many as 5 people that you know are encouragers, that you know you need to spend more time with. Maybe there's a group, maybe there's a workout group or a church group or some sort of a growth group. That there's just positive people that are going to lift you up. You need to get around those type of people. It can completely transform your life by doing that. Flash, come here. So for me, sorry, here's my, okay. He's trying to play right now. Sorry, my dog down here is, here we go. So again, or get a dog, all right? So for me here, we got Flash here, and he, so these are good buddies, right? So this is a good way to overcome, I think, depression, anxiety. So he's ready to go play. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that having community, people, again, hugging people, that heals your gut, okay? Hugs heal your gut. They're healing. So all these different things. So again, I just want to encourage you, combat fear, worry, anxiety, grief, with knowing your purpose and identity, getting grateful, having community in your life, these things. So again, you'll see health is holistic. If you really want to heal your body, you've got to really do things holistically. You've got to remove foods from your diet. You got to consume the right type of healing foods we talked about here. You got to reseed your gut. You got to rebuild your body by using supplements. And then you got to restore yourself emotionally and spiritually to completely heal. And listen, if you missed some of what I talked about, listen, I just scratched the surface here. I get in much greater depth here in my book, Eat Dirt. Man, if you do not have this book, you got to check it out. This is the really only in-depth book I've ever written. I spent 5+ years putting together the material to make this book great. Has all the recipes in it, shopping lists, quizzes to help you find out what your gut type is, how severe your leaky gut is, and has a personalized plan and program to help your overall gut health. So again, check this book out. You can simply get it online today. We put links in there. And if you've enjoyed this live training video, again, remember, hey, help me share this. Click the love button, the share button. Help me spread the message. More people need to know the truth. You don't need conventional drugs. We need to use food as medicine. And by the way, if you're not subscribed here to my channel, make sure to subscribe here to my Facebook channel. I got more Facebook Lives coming up with advanced trainings on herbs, essential oils, foods, and a lot more. Also, hey, make sure to check out my Instagram page. I'm always posting Instagram lives and stories and other posts on there, so make sure you follow me, Dr. Josh Axe on Instagram. Hey, I'll be back this week with another Facebook Live and with an Instagram post here in just a little bit. Check it out. Hey, thanks for watching, guys.